Hi, I'm Lukas, and this is our making of video for our entry, The Drill Sergeant / More Than Human for the OST Crunch Time Composing Jam number 2. In this video, I'll break down our song and show you how to record a cyberpunk song using only a couple of very standard instruments, including an electric bass, an electric guitar, a violin, not electric, an electric piano, 2 electric drills, a hammer, a saw, a cardboard box, a jar full of nails, and last but not least, bubble wrap. So yeah, let's break down our Ableton session from the bottom to the top. So let's start with this sick drum beat. Yeah, so those are some weird drum sounds, and that's because they are not actually drum sounds. These are a bunch of noises that we made with different tools that we recorded and put into our custom drum rack, and I think they sound pretty fun. So let's break down the different drums we made here. We have a kick drum consisting of a cardboard being hit by a hammer. For our snare drum, we layer two different sounds. First, we have a saw sound, and we have a electric drill sound. Then for our hi-hat loop, we put a bunch of nails in a jar and we use them as a shaker egg. Which sounds like this. And we use that same jar of nails for a sort of crash-like sound. And also we recorded 2 more sounds that we used for fills with the same jar. And also one more sound that we used for a different kind of fill is a bubble from a bubble wrap that we just popped. And it sounds like this. And I think it's neat. And if you put it all together, let's listen to it again. Sounds like this, and I think it's just a really cool sound that was so much fun to put together. And yeah, that was fun. So now it sort of pains me to say that, but it's unfortunately sort of the most boring part of the song is the bass line. Let's take a quick listen. Okay, yeah, so as you can hear, I went for a sort of funky feeling bass line. My girlfriend wasn't entirely convinced that it would fit the theme, but I convinced her, like I usually convinced her, by making a bad pun, by saying, yeah, we're just doing a cyberpunk entry, that's completely fine, right? No one will be mad at us. And yeah, I originally also intended to do this with a sort of slap and pop technique, which didn't quite work out. My timing was terrible, it sounded horrible, so I had to resort to just using my normal fingering technique. But I think it still sounds okay. Now let's get to a somewhat more interesting part. So this one we actually put some thought into. We thought, okay, let's have this sort of boss who has this duality of being a human but also having this bionic enhancements. And so we thought, why not have a dual lead instrument consisting of a violin representing the human parts of the boss and a electric guitar. That was not a electric guitar. Yeah, that's also somewhat modulated, which represents the modified parts, so the bionic parts of the boss. And our original idea was to sort of have a rapid crossfade between the 2 parts, but that sounded horrible when we tried it, so we settled for a different idea instead, where we do the sort of cross-panning effect. So the 2 instruments start on the left and the right side of the listener and then keep on switching places. We can maybe take a quick listen of them together. And I think you sort of have to wear headphones to really appreciate that. But I think it's a neat effect, and I think it was fun to do. But now let's get to the probably the coolest part in the song, in my opinion, which was of course entirely my girlfriend's idea, the drill solo, which consists of a drill. What we did here was basically we had we layered a bunch of electric drill sounds on top of each other. So let's quickly listen to them without any effect. And then we used these sounds as a modulator signal for a vocoder. And my girlfriend played a solo on the electric piano, and we recorded that as a MIDI track, and we used that as a carrier signal, and we put the two things together, and it sounds like this. And I just really dig the sound of that. I think it sounds sort of electronic, and I think it's so cool that we just made this using a bunch of drills and a vocoder effect. And I recommend everyone to try something like that. It's just so much fun. And we used a very similar technique to also add some drill harmonies. And yeah, slightly different vocoder settings, but basically the same effect. And we also used a vocoder effect for the drill sergeant's voice.
I am more than a human. I am more than a human. More than a human.
So basically what you hear here is just me talking, and then we used this MIDI track as a carrier, which looks kind of crazy. It's basically just 3 E notes in different octaves, as the song is in the key of E. And then we added a bunch of noise notes sort of in the beginning, which, let's be honest, are just arbitrarily placed, but I think they sound really cool, and I think it's a cool effect. And also to add to the ambience in that part, we also did record some sort of breathing sounds. And yeah, I think these add a lot of atmosphere. Yeah, and then, so as you may have read already, the story of the song is basically, so we fight this boss and we defeat him, and then as he is defeated, he realizes that his judgment has been sort of clouded by these augmentations that he has in his body. And so he, in the end, he is redeemed, and he can't be saved, but he at least gets his redemption. And so we added this very neat piano part, which I think just sounds really beautiful. And yeah, my girlfriend basically just played anything on the piano, and it sounded beautiful. I'm a bit jealous because I can't do that, but I think it sounds great. Okay, so that's basically it. So that's our recap of our song. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope maybe you even learned a thing or two or got some inspiration to try something a bit more weird for your next project. And I'm looking forward to listening to all the other entries. Thanks for watching. See you.